My name is Harold Richard Neely III, and shortly thereafter they started assembling us and getting us prepared to get to the ship, which is on Newport News. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was just like looking at the Empire State Building. It just kept going and going and going. And same thing with my son that said the same thing when we had a chance to walk on board the ship for the last time. The closer we got to the ship, the bigger it got. And he'd never been on a ship, never seen anything that large. And so he was quite impressed, as such as I was too. And walking on board originally with all the crew members, with your whole sea bags and everything else, and then finally getting into your berthing spaces and everything else, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, I'm going to get lost. And it only took about a couple months, and you didn't get lost too much because they pretty much have everything listed, and they tell you this is how many decks you are, this is it forward and aft, and so on and so forth. Your port or starboard, and you learned quite well. They did a big, huge commissioning of the ship. We had many dignitaries out there, and it was quite a long experience. We were all did our thing that we had to do as sailors, and that was the experience, and that was in 1965 in January, I believe. And then we did our qualifications. When we were doing our shakedown cruise, originally when the ship was still new, doing high-speed turns and runs, and I was up on the bridge when they did this, it just blows you away. You don't think about it, but when you do a left turn, you think, okay, you're going to turn left to the ship, like you would do in a car or a motorboat or whatever. That doesn't happen with an aircraft carrier. You're doing the opposite direction. So here's the island of the ship sticking up this way, and you're turning like this. You can't see any water. All you do is see the end of the flight deck. Now you're looking down, straight down at water. And then you turn back, and then you do the opposite. Now you're looking this way, and you can't see anything this way, and it's scary. And we're doing this at high speeds. Well, one of the high-speed turns and runs, we bent one of the shafts of one of the propellers. So they had to shut it down and take us back in when we went back in, take us back to Newport News, put her in dry dock, and went back in and pulled a whole new shaft in, put a new one in, and oh yeah. So that's an experience in itself because this ship did shake. I think it just happened. They don't expected it, and I don't know why. How far we were coming out of the water, or how far came out of the water, but evidently it came out far enough that it experienced that. Don't tell me which one of the was one of the two end propellers that happened to it. We have pictures of the size of the propellers, of a man standing next to it. Just massive. Now you've got to figure, you got 4 huge blades or 5 huge blades on just one propeller. If you ever fell overboard on the back end of the ship, you would never survive because the motion of that ocean would just keep dragging you down, and you would never come out. And so we had very few incidences of anybody jumping off the ship. Not on I mean to commit suicide or anything. We never had anything like that. But people do think about this. You know, there are people who just can't take it anymore, and they want to do it. Well, we were coming into port, and we were so slow. By the time the fella jumped over the ship had already moved, 100 yards. So he never got involved. So one of the ships behind us picked him up. Needless to say, he had to go get a new sea bag. They made him pay for a new sea bag, new clothes, and then he spent a little time in the brig because he tried to commit suicide. And the military, when you sign up for the military, you are part of the government. If you do anything to your body, get sunburned or anything else like that, and can't perform your job, you're literally considered destroying government property or, causing bodily harm to where you can't do your job. they get a little nasty about that. But that's you think about this. You are signing up. You're giving your life to your God and your country, and hope that nothing goes wrong. And I felt good about it. I felt very pleased and very proud that I served in the ship and named after our country, and spent my time. I think all people should serve some part of military service. If they can't do military service, they could do land service. I mean, they can't go out to sea or anything else, but I think that they should do it.